Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Brews, Chews, and News. Do we have anyone here who's here for the very first time? Oh. Uh-oh. Good morning. And you are?
Nancy Swinford from Indianapolis. I'm from Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. And you're here for homestay to see if you like Friendship Village. Well, what do you think so far?
I love it.
Well, we'd love to have you here. So when do you make the big decision?
I'll be back on July 10th, and I know what my decision is, but it's really hard to say, to commit. I'll be back on the 10th, and I'll decide then.
Let's help her decide. And what time is it? It's showtime at coffee time. It's that time of the day. We read some stories, sing some oldies. Here's a way. It's showtime at coffee time. We lift you up for a while. We can't do it, you gotta hop to it. Put on a great big smile. Photographs and belly laughs and try some games to play. And sometimes we get serious, but we don't stay long that way. So grab a donut and fill your cup. Start to loosen up. Put a smiling place on a happy face as we go on with the show. And now, here's our fearless leader, Wade.
You. Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry I missed last week. I was at the dentist. Yeah, and he still has not gotten this tooth fixed. So I think every Friday I'll go to the dentist or so, get out a little early. No, the first thing I wanted to say, since I missed last week, I wanted to say, how about Sarah Corbett and that team on the 250th? That was amazing, and I brought my daughter in last Saturday, and we saw that shrimp bowl, and I got a funny story to tell you. Manny, who does a great job with those parties as well, said, "Wait, I didn't really budget for this 250th celebration." I said, "Just put it on administration." Those were the largest shrimp I've ever seen in my life. He went all out. It wasn't on his budget. All right. Well, I wanted to share with you, before I get to the trivia, I know some of you have read this already, but I have now completed, well, almost completed my first year at Friendship Village. And it has been the best year professionally in my life, and in some ways personally. But I wanted to read this because you guys are my family, and I want to thank you all for this past year, not only professionally but personally, and some of the things that I've gone through in 2025. So it's kind of a weird year because it was a great year, and then it was kind of a sad year for me. And I wanted to read this to you, from me to you. As I complete my first year at Friendship Village, I find myself reflecting on what an incredible year it has been. When I arrived, I knew I was joining a special community. What I didn't know was just how much this community would impact me, both professionally and personally. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity to meet so many of you, hear your stories, share laughs, celebrate milestones, and simply enjoy the everyday moments that make Friendship Village such a wonderful place to call home. You have welcomed me with kindness, patience, and friendship, and for that I am truly grateful. This year was also one of the most difficult years of my life in 2025, as I lost both of my parents. It was a season filled with grief, reflection, and change. As many of you know, losing a parent is never easy. Losing both in the same year was something I was not prepared for. What helped carry me through were the people around me. Many of you shared your own experiences, your wisdom, and your encouragement. Some of our conversations happened during scheduled meetings, while others took place in hallways, at events, or during a chance encounter around campus. Those moments mattered more than you know. One of the things I've learned this year at Friendship Village is about how much more Friendship Village is than just beautiful grounds, great programs, and outstanding services. It's about people. It's about connection. It's about looking out for one another and finding joy in community. Professionally, I've never been more excited about the future. I have the privilege of working alongside an amazing team that cares deeply about our residents and our mission. Together, we've accomplished a great deal this year, and we're just getting started. Personally, this community has reminded me of the importance of friendship, purpose, and staying connected to others. At a time when I needed those reminders most, many of you provided them simply by being yourselves. Thank you for making my first year at Friendship Village one I will never forget. Thank you for welcoming me into your community and allowing me to become a small part of your lives. It has been an honor to serve here, and I look forward to many more conversations, celebrations, and memory in the years. So, thank you for all. I'm not going to cry. All right, but just thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Well, let's get back to Wade and his jokes. Has anyone seen Sue today? She looks amazing in red. She lost a bet, so for the entire week, she's wearing cardinal red. And I had a Sue and Fred Bird picture from the 250th celebration, but I didn't get it up. But also, I've got one question. Claudia and I were talking about this. Claudia, you might already know. Who put the beautiful cactuses outside my office in the courtyard? Does anyone know? Do you know, Claudia? Okay, I'll have to stop by and say hello. Some beautiful the residents living in 248 put them out there, so they're great. All right, I have a prize in my pocket. So, this particular gentleman was an American soccer player on the U.S. national team in 1950 when the USA upset England 1-0. It was a big deal. He also coached the St. Louis University Billikens to 5 NCAA championships. He was also a resident of Bethesda Orchard when I was the manager there, so I got to know him very well. Can anyone name who this St. Louisan is? Who? You're close. His last name is Keogh. I think JB's going to get this anyways, since he got Keogh right? Okay. His name was Harry Keogh. Harry was a resident of Bethesda Orchard when I was there. He always knew where he was because he had a big soccer ball outside of his apartment. And I used to knock on the door, and I'd walk in, and he'd watch soccer for 12 hours a day on TV. So it was an amazing thing. And in honor of me going to the dentist last week, you win Crest toothpaste and a new toothbrush. There you go. Thank you, sir. All right, we'll turn it over to Sarah unless anyone has questions. All right, thank you all. Oh, my shoes coming untied.
You should really know that we've already told Danny there are no more shrimp in the North Atlantic. Shrimp are monsters.
Well, good morning, everyone. I don't really know how to transition from toothpaste, so we're just going to jump in. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and I'm wishing you a happy 4th of July this upcoming weekend. For this afternoon, we have 2 o'clock drama group as usual. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, June 30th, 9 a.m. putting golf. I'm going to look at Dave. Outside or inside? Outside? Okay. So before the heat rises. And then also tomorrow at 11 a.m., there is the EVS committee meeting. I wanted to invite you all tomorrow at 2 p.m. to the theater to come see the Victory Vertical Project presented by Dr. Gary Peterson. So he presents a patriotic concert honoring World War II and the pianos and how they impacted the soldiers during that time. He'll use a mix of music, piano, and also storytelling, and it's really a fantastic presentation leading us up to the 4th of July. So I hope you can join us for that. And then tomorrow we also have the skilled nursing volunteer meeting. I didn't know if Sue, I don't know if she'll come up in her Cardinal shirt, but did you want to say anything or? Thank you, Sue. So I'll just reiterate there, the meeting tomorrow for volunteers that are interested is 11 a.m. in the Trillium Loft meeting room. Oh, you're right. Sue, we'll take a look at that and get that sorted out. So I think we have an overlap tomorrow. Wednesday, July 1st, we've got Bochi, and I believe you all are playing in the theater. Is that correct, due to the heat, at 12:45? And then at 1:30, the bookmobile will be there as well in the game room per usual. And then I know Bert will probably talk about the choir this week, so I'll skip ahead on that. Thursday, July 2nd, a reminder for the 11 o'clock piano performer in the Fireside Lounge. Carol wanted me to let you know that they've canceled Wii Bowling this Thursday just because of all the choir rehearsals happening. And then, of course, Bert will talk about, but we invite you all to join us Thursday evening at 7:30 here in the theater for America the Beautiful, presented by our Friendship Village Choir about songs of freedom and faith. And, of course, as you know, advance tickets were required. And then also Thursday night, a bridge is canceled. They wanted me to let you know that. Friday, July 3rd, this is our observed holiday for staff, so just keep an eye out for any cancellations. I will go through those real quick. We will still have line dancing on Friday at 1 o'clock, and then there will be a 2 p.m. entertainment in honor of the 4th of July on Friday, and that will be featuring Jeremiah Bircher in the theater. So as far as the cancellations for Friday, we will not have balance assessments, we will not have acrylic painting, we will not have water fitness with Ann, and there will not be brain fitness, again, due to the holiday. On Saturday, July 4th, a reminder, because of the holiday, the Chesterfield dining room hours are from 11 to 4, which is noted in your Village Voice. It does list water volleyball, but that will actually be canceled on Saturday. Fix It Saturday is also canceled, so your items will remain broken, I guess, until the following week. But Marlene Bake will be having her presentation at 10:30 a.m. on the 4th in the theater, and it will be on creating our country's founding documents. And then 6 o'clock bingo on Saturday and 6:30 Mexican train. For transportation, I just wanted to note Sarah Smith is out on vacation this week through July 7th, so if you do have any questions or any needs, just give me a call or send me an email. But we will have our transportation as usual on July 1st, 9:30 a.m. Schnucks will go, and 11 a.m. Walgreens will go. On Friday, July 3rd, we will not have transportation again due to the observed holiday. Jonathan wanted me to mention that on July 11th, Shirley Goff is celebrating her birthday in the theater at 2 o'clock, so anyone and everyone is welcome to attend that. Bert, did you want to talk a little bit more about the choir?
Sure, just for a moment. Good morning, everyone. Thursday night, as Sarah said, at 7:30 in this room is the choir cantata, America the Beautiful, Songs of Freedom and Faith. We've given out tickets for that to make sure we have enough space. There's only so much room here in the theater. If you don't have a ticket, you should be still able to watch on channel 2493. But you're also welcome to come to the dress rehearsal the day before. after bocce, we will flip this room very quickly. Our choir dress rehearsals at 3 o'clock. And we always invite folks over from skilled nursing and assisted living to be a part of that midday when we have the choir performances. It's easier to transport and maneuver many of those folks during the day than it is during the evening hours. So, but you are more than welcome, if you don't have a ticket, to join in for that dress rehearsal on Wednesday as well. If you have a ticket and something's come up and you're not able to come Thursday night, please take that back to Jonathan. He'll be glad to pass that on to someone else. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other things to mention or questions? All right, and we will take a look at that EVS conflict along with the skilled nursing, and we'll get that sorted out for tomorrow. All right, we have quite a few birthdays and a few 4th of July birthdays as well. So for today, June 29th, we have Jenny Buckowitz and also June Dicer. June 30th, we have Etoile Feinfrock and Ken Thornberry, along with Judy Weissman. July 1st, Clarita Cohen, Barb Bromstead, and then on July 2nd, we have Al Mertz. July 3rd, Joe Colvin and Becky Davis. And then for our 4th of July birthdays, we have Gladys Sims and Donna Tedeschi. And then finally, July 5th, Winnie McDonald's and Lynn Adams. So thank you so much and happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. All right, get ready to stand and join Carla with some exercise.
Good morning. All right, let's start looking straight ahead, and we'll look side to side first. 4 more times each way. 3, 2, each way again. Looking ahead now. Bring your chin to your chest, then look up at the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, one more time. Looking up. Now look straight ahead and roll your shoulders. 5, 4, 2, 1. Good. Up and down. 5, 3. Good. 2 more. And 1 more. Touch your shoulders. Lift up. Shoulders back down. 4 up. Back down. 3. Good. Make sure you're breathing well. 2. Now lift up, stay here. Good, look up, reach toward the ceiling. 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now spread your fingers apart, spread and release. 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. Good. 3, 2, 1. Make gentle fists and roll through your wrists. And reverse it around, roll the other way. Then shake out your hands and come all the way down. Bend to one side in your waist. 4, then we'll go the other way. 3, 2, 1. Now the other way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to go side to side. 5, 4, 3, 2. Each way again. Center. We're wobbling. Now hands bend to 90 degrees and pull way back, like squeeze the middle of your back there. Feel that behind you. We'll do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Hold your elbows way back, extend your arms, and press back. 3, 2, 1. Connect your hands, pull away. Good, release in front, lace your fingers, pull up and away from you. That. Good. All right, coming down and up. 4, 3, good. 2 more. 1 more, all the way up again behind your head and up. 4, 3, 2 more. 1 more. And then release down, hands to your hips. Circle the hips. 5, hula hoop style. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse that. 5, 4, 3, 2 more, 1 more. Now roll through your feet. Lift up a heel, then the other one. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Up on the toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Excellent. All the way up. Bring your hands together. Bend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. And right here in front. And now take a bow. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Carla. And now we have a presentation on tea by Judy Whitworth.
Good morning, friends. Listening to Wade talk this morning, I thought, maybe I should mention something. I came about a month before he did last year, so we have about the same anniversary. The first time I came into this room, I introduced myself, and then I shared the little quip about the fact that my father used to answer the phone. Let's be friends. And lo and behold, here we are a year later. I can look across this room and name almost everybody in here. We are friends. How nice that is. All right, I am not a tea aficionado, but I do love tea, and so I did just a smattering of research about it, and then, like the group that meets Saturday morning for show and tell, I brought a few things for show and tell. First of all, I looked up to see who grows the most tea. Since you all love trivia, which country in the world do you think grows the most tea? China. China does more than 14 tons per year. So kudos to Wei Hua and Qin and whoever else comes from China or parts of China for that little factoid. India comes in second, which is where we find the Assam tea and the Darjeeling. And the third place country, Kenya. Oh, kudos to Valerie and Veronica. Now you know. And these are followed by Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Turkey. One of the things that you may have noticed if you've ever looked at tea plantations is that the tea plants all grow on hills. So it's kind of a bit like vineyards. Those plants just like being on hilly places. So that explains why they grow some of the places that they do grow. There are a plethora, well, a small plethora, of kinds of teas. Black, green, white, rooibos, herbal, oolong. So I thought I'd break that down just a little bit. Black tea is fully oxidized and has a strong flavor. One of the variants of black tea is called pu'er. It's spelled Puerh. This is a particular kind of tea because it's compacted and aged. When you get a cake of pu'er tea from a Chinese food store, it will be in a pressed cake. And some of them can last, well, my internet source this morning said 5 to 50 years, but I've also read elsewhere that they can go up to a couple hundred years, depending on how carefully it's preserved, which of course was something that happened for emperors in China. So that's kind of an interesting little piece. As a side note, I bought a cake of pu'er one time, and I would break it off and put it in my little tea steeper. But when I found a feather in it, I decided I was done. No. Next down the line on the tea scale is the green tea. While black is fully oxidized, green is unoxidized, and it's lighter in flavor. Oolong is in between green and black, being partially oxidized. The last in the tea family of true tea is the white. That is also made from the leaves and the flower buds, and it has a very delicate flavor, and the steeping process reflects that. All of these are from the camellia plant, okay? And then I got to thinking, wait a minute, there's something else people drink that's in the tea family, and so I had to go diving off on that one. Matcha. Matcha is made from green tea leaves, but it's ground into a powder. Those leaves are grown in the shade for 3 to 4 weeks before harvesting. This increases the chlorophyll and boosts the L-theanine, but it also has a higher caffeine level than the green tea. I thought that there must be a reason why the caffeine in matcha kind of gets me buzzed. I switched from drinking coffee to tea because I have a low tolerance for caffeine, so I needed to have a politer, kinder, gentler form. So I think what happens with the matcha is when they grind it down, then it does get to be a lot more concentrated. So I looked at the number of grams, and I'm sorry, engineers, I don't want to spout all those numbers. Suffice it to say it's too much caffeine for me, but if you need that little bit of a bump, that might be your choice. Several months ago, I was reading in the National Geographic, and they had an article about the chemicals and the makeup of tea, and they had, their usual 2-page spread of graphs and which ones were on which end of the spectrum, which ones were on the other. The amino acid L-theanine, I'm saying it all wrong, Theanine. This is a crucial element in why tea works so well. It's exclusively in the tea leaves and not in any of the herbals. That amino acid, all you chemists and engineers, provides a sense of calm without sedation. It increases the alpha brain waves linked to relaxed alertness. It tempers the effect of the caffeine. So again, not feeling buzzed and jittery. You get the caffeine, but then that amino acid just mellows it out. The process of making tea can signal a shift from tension to rest. So when you put the kettle on and you get your tea out, it's that sign of, okay, we're just going to chill here. It'll be good. So you have focused attention. It releases a mood-regulating compounds like dopamine and serotonin. Did you know that was going on in your brain when you drink tea? You may think about that the next time you go for coffee and you need a little more dopamine. It improves the mood. That's why I'm so happy all the time, I'm sure. It mitigates the caffeine effects, like I said. It's still based on individual body chemistry, of course. So, everybody's wired just a little bit different. But it does remind me of the old British adage, keep calm and carry on. And you see in various Brit television movie productions, when there's a crisis in the scenario, someone has provided a cup of tea. And there's good scientific reason for doing that. So that's all the sciencey stuff. Now let's get to the show and tell. One of the things that I learned after being gifted Teavana tins is that brewing time and temperature matter a lot with tea. So I didn't come up with this, but this is just a handy-dandy little scale on their tins. It gives you, herbals go for the hot water because of the the fruit and the herbs and the flowers that are typically in herbals will tolerate that. So 208 degrees for 5 to 6 minutes. Green, it says, goes at 175. Don't bring it clear up to boiling if you're doing green tea. And only 1 to 2 minutes. Just kind of walk that bag right through. White is also 175, but it can take a little bit longer, 4 to 5. I typically don't. I just don't like the teas to get bitter. And that's what happens when you oversteep tea. Okay, black will take 195, which Maggie Smith would beg to differ. She said, bring that water to a full boil. So again, you do it to taste, of course. That gets steeped 3 to 4 minutes. Rooibos is an herbal technically, and it comes from South Africa. It takes hot water, 208, and 5 to 6 minutes. And the oolong at 195 for 3 to 4. Okay, last little bit of show and tell. I brought some of my teacups. I have pretty little cups and saucers, like many of you probably do, but these are particularly favorites of mine. This first one is part of a set that my daughter brought back from the Ukraine. So that's kind of fun. This one over here, I hope that my favorite little Brit is watching this morning. This one is from the Lake District of Northern England, home to Beatrice Bixby Potter. And one day, I ran into Mrs. Tiggy Winkle by a hedgerow. The final one, I picked up what is a teacup collection without one that has the queen. I mean, you really should have the queen on one. And this is a teapot that my sister bought for me, covered by a cozy that I made. So, you know, if you're going to put tea on the table and you're using a good proper loose leaf that's steeping in the pot, put it in the pot and then keep the pot warm. And that's it. Thank you very much.
And guess what song we're going to sing? And now Karen Crone is going to tell us about potpourri. No? Oh, well, I have it wrong. Sorry. Do you want this or that? I'll see if this will work.
It's back here a little bit. Can you hear me? Is it good back there? Okay, put up your hand if you can't hear me. We've been hearing a lot about history lately. History has never been my strong suit. When I was a freshman at Mizzou in 1958, the 5-hour American history requirement annoyed me. Were any of you at Mizzou during the late 50s and remember the history professor, Dr. James Bugg? No, okay, I thought somebody might be here. He was a great lecturer and he made history entertaining, but much to my surprise, I evidently didn't retain much. Just a year after taking that course, I began dating my future husband, Bill, and we went to the movie, The Alamo. the John Wayne version. It was a very long movie, 3 hours, 22 minutes. That's a long time to sit. Finally, I looked at my watch and realized the movie was almost over and it didn't look good for our side. I whispered in Bill's ear, "The movie's almost over. There's only 5 minutes left. How are we going to win this?" You can imagine his response and my embarrassment at not knowing that we lost the Alamo. I had always heard, "Remember the Alamo," and assumed it had a positive outcome, and that's why we were told to remember it. Well, Bill married me anyway, and I continued on in life, not really interested in history. But that has changed in the last few years since I've become interested in genealogy. Learning about my family history has deepened my appreciation for my country and strengthened my sense of patriotism. When I discovered the stories of my ancestors, I began to understand the challenges, sacrifices, and achievements that helped shape both my family and America. When I found information on my 8th great-grandfather, Anthony Arnold, I learned about the uprisings and rebellions that occurred before the Revolutionary War. It was definitely shocking to learn that my ancestor had been hung along with 23 other colonists for treason against England because of their participation in an uprising called the Bacon's Rebellion, which occurred 100 years before the Revolutionary War. Grandfather Arnold was one of the most outspoken supporters of Nathaniel Bacon. Arnold was captured and brought before the Virginia governor who had been appointed by the King of England. Rather than begging for mercy, Grandpa Arnold defiantly defended the right of people to resist a government they believed was oppressive. He declared that kings held power by force and that people could resist them by force as well. He was then sentenced to be hanged in chains as a particularly memorable warning to others. He left behind a wife and 4 children. The wife died 2 years later, leaving their 4 children as orphans. There were other rebellions during the 100 years before the Revolutionary War, and one was the Cary Rebellion in 1711 in North Carolina that I now know about because one of my ancestors was involved in that uprising also. I learned that 3 of my direct ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War. One great-great-great-great-grandfather joined the Patriots at the age of 51, leaving his wife and 12 children behind. Another great-great-great-grandpa, Thomas Miles, joined the Army at the age of 15 in 1775, right after the Bunker Hill battle. And he also participated in the battles of Bennington and Saratoga, both occurring in 77. He served in many different capacities until his discharge in 1783. So he was actually in the Army for 8 years. A third great-grandfather survived serving in the war, but was later killed by Indians. There were many hardships faced by the Revolutionary soldiers. There were harsh winters. The winter of 77-78 at Valley Forge was brutal. Many lacked warm clothing, blankets, shoes, and adequate shelter. Some soldiers wrapped rags around their feet or marched barefoot in the snow, and my grandfather Miles was serving at Valley Forge during that winter. There was hunger and poor supplies. The Continental Army often struggled to obtain food, ammunition, clothing, and medical supplies. Many soldiers died without ever seeing a battlefield because of smallpox, dysentery, pneumonia, and malaria. It's estimated that 17,000 died from diseases, exposure, malnutrition, and other non-combat causes. The total number of casualties of American patriots was 25,000. As I mentioned, 17,000 from non-combat and 6,800 were killed in battle. And also 2,200 died as prisoners of war. Captured soldiers faced terrible conditions aboard British prison ships anchored in places such as New York City Harbor. Disease, starvation, and no medical assistance were common. Soldiers were often paid late or not at all. Inflation made paper money nearly worthless. Of course, many worried about how their families were surviving back home. Enlistments could last months or years. Some returned home to find farms neglected or property damaged. I was glad to learn that there were land grants and retirements given to those who served, although they usually didn't receive that compensation until many years later. The Continental Army endured because they were fighting for independence from Britain, self-government, liberty, and the rights of future generations. That's us. Their willingness to endure these hardships helped secure victory, culminating in the British surrender in 1781. And as I've read more about the Revolutionary War, I realized that it was actually, in some respects, a civil war. I have ancestors who were on our side, but in addition to that, I also have ancestors who stayed loyal to England and left the country after England was defeated. Before doing the research, I thought the Revolutionary War ended with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Yes, I've had a lot to learn. Actually, the war continued until the British surrendered at the Siege of Yorktown, 1781, and it didn't officially conclude until the signing of the Treaty of Paris on September 3, 1783. So there was 8 years, 4.5 months between the signing and the final treaty. So the question I had was, why are we celebrating 250 years of freedom when freedom didn't happen in 1776? Because the fighting didn't end until 1781. So I asked AI, the AI app, ChatGPT, that question, and here's the reply that I received. Quote, "That's an excellent question." That made me feel good. And it highlights the distinction between declaring independence and winning independence. Declaring independence in 76 did not make the colonies free in practice. They still had to fight to secure that independence. A useful comparison is to think of a person's life. 1776 was America's birth, and 1781 was America's decisive military victory, and 1783 was when other nations, especially Great Britain, officially recognized that independence. That's why the nationwide celebration that we're hearing so much about now is called America 250. It commemorates the 250th anniversary of the moment the American people announced they were a free and independent nation. The war that followed was a struggle to make that declaration a reality. The anniversary celebrates both the founding document and the beginning of the nation's long journey to live up to those ideals. So as you can see, becoming interested in genealogy has definitely helped me appreciate the rights and freedoms that we enjoy today. I want to thank Mary Dolan for being such a great instructor in genealogy. And I'm also grateful for the book club led by Jim Markey. The book, George Washington's Secret Six by Brian Kilmeade, was excellent, and it gave me a lot of vivid pictures of the difficulties I've mentioned. And I have one more thank you. Tom Martin, would you stand up, please? He gave me my title. Tell us what your shirt. Home of the free, because of the brave.
Thank you, Karen. Now we're going to have another sing-along. Everybody's been know And now Sue Jacobsmeyer is going to talk about Camp Zoe?
Zoe.
Okay.
Anybody ever go to Camp Zoe?
Did you want this?
I don't know. Do I need that? Or can you hear me with this? Okay. Anybody ever go to Camp Zoe in Eminence, Missouri? No. Okay. When I was 8 and my sister was 10, Mom and Dad thought that we would enjoy a week at Camp Zoe in Eminence, Missouri. Oh, on the Current River. Wait a minute. They dropped us off and said to my sister, "Now you take care of Susie because she might be scared to be away from home. She's never been away." I loved it. My sister cried and cried for 2 weeks. I verified that when I called her the other day. I loved to swim, so I jumped in the river, went underwater, and when I tried to come up for a breath, a rubber raft had floated over the top of me with laughing children. I tried and punched the thing, and finally I came up for air. But my sister, who was supposed to take care of me, was nowhere around. We had archery, we had games, but the greatest was horseback riding. We both liked animals and really got attached to our horses. In fact, horses became our love. We were pleased to discover that if we were able to learn to care for our horse, we could have some free riding time that was not in line. Both of us were really excited about that time, and later we could have an extra week at camp to ride freely. When camp ended, we begged Dad for a horse, but we never got one. Wait a minute, turn page. Later, when I was mothering 4 young children, I decided it was time to take my 5, 4, 3, and 1-year-old to Ballast Park and go for a horseback ride. I held the baby while riding the last horse in line. And as we went up and down hills, the saddle started to slip. I was last in line, and I yelled to the leader, "I'm slipping and I'm going to drop the baby." She quickly ran back, grabbed the baby, and I said, "Okay, that's the last of our riding. Until you can get on your horse, we're not going to ride anymore."
Thank you, Sue. Do you have a little video? Okay. Jules, we have Jim Markey on the program. I'm sorry, I didn't.
My mistake.
Not my fault, Jim. Jim Markey, coming up.
I'm used to being ignored. I've been married for a very long time. In recognition of of Independence Day, I've got 2 readings here. First, I'll open with some trivia. How many signers of the Declaration of Independence were there? I was surprised to find there were 56 signers to the Declaration of Independence, pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor in defense of their country. Wonder what happened to them. By the way, Karen referred to the cruelty of the British to the revolutionaries. It was endemic. They were systematically, of course, nothing like what they did to the Irish during the potato famine, but they're extremely cruel. 5 were captured by the British as traitors and were tortured to death. 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. 2 lost their sons serving in the army. Another 2 had sons who were captured, tortured, and died. None of the 56 fought and died from their wounds and the hardships of the war. What kind of men were they? They were well-educated, men of means. 24 were lawyers. 11 were merchants. 9 were farmers who owned plantations. They signed a declaration knowing full well that the penalty would be death if they were captured. Here's some of the names. Carter Braxton of Virginia, a wealthy planter and trader, saw his ships destroyed by the British Navy. He sold his home and properties and died in poverty. Thomas McKean was so hounded by the British that he was forced to move his family repeatedly. He served in Congress without pay and kept his family in hiding. His possessions were confiscated, and he too died in poverty. At the Battle of Yorktown, Thomas Nelson noted that the British general Cornwallis had taken over the Nelson home as his headquarters. He urged General Washington to open fire, and the home was destroyed. Nelson died in bankruptcy. Francis Lewis' home and property were destroyed. The enemy jailed his wife, and she died within a few months. John Hart was driven from his wife's bedside as she was dying. Their 13 children fled for their lives, and his fields and grist mills were burned and laid to waste. For a year, he lived in forests and caves, returning to find his wife dead and their children vanished. Lastly, take a few moments this 4th of July to thank these patriots. Freedom is never free. Second is a profile of Uncle Sam. Standing next to Lady Liberty and Karen is J.B. Stoltz. That's not Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is a figure that symbolizes the United States. Historians aren't completely certain from whom the character was created. But the prevailing theory is that the name originated as an unfriendly name for the U.S. government during the War of 1812. As the story goes, the term Uncle Sam had its origins not in a specific person, but he was born in Arlington, Mass. On September 13th, 1766. His childhood home was in Mason, New Hampshire. In 1789, he and his brother Ebenezer walked to Troy, New York. During the War of 1812, Sam Wilson was in the business of slaughtering and packing meat. He provided large shipments of meat to the Army in barrels that were stamped with the initial U.S. Supposedly, someone who saw the U.S. stamp suggested, perhaps as a joke, that the initials stood for Uncle Sam. The soldiers of that time equated their United States supplied rations with Uncle Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson died in 1854 and his remains are located in the cemetery, Oakwood Cemetery in North Troy, New York. A little less seriously. This is called Better Safe Than Sorry, and we all know we've had friends like this. After drinking and driving, this might seem to save the cost of embarrassment. It might have saved the cost of embarrassment if he'd been arrested for DUI. As you know, people have been known to have unexpected brushes with the authorities from time to time, often on the way home after a social session with friends or families. Social session means drinking. Not long ago, a man was out for the evening at a Christmas party, had more than several margaritas, coupled with a bottle of red wine, all served at a Mexican restaurant. Although relaxed, he had the common sense to know he was slightly over the limit. So he'd done something he never did before. He took a taxi home. Sure enough, on the way home, there was a police roadblock. But since it was a taxi, they waved him through, and he arrived safely home without incident. Those roadblocks could have been anywhere, and so he felt fortunate to have taken a taxi. He'd never driven a taxi before. He didn't know where he got it, and now it's in his garage. So if you want a taxi, give him a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans white with foam. God
But anyway, so I think they well with cinnamon. I think the herbs also, the chamomile, the green tea. I think
Yeah, yeah. My husband laughs at me. I have a tea cupboard everywhere I go. You know? It's only tea. It's Judy's tea cupboard.
but it's wonderful that you talk about the tea. And then I think the black one from Ceylon, I know the one from the Chinese store. I have a tea drinker.
Yeah.
And I used to have the box when I lived in the house with different
Mom's going,
What did you do? She thought that I was pregnant. No, I was a good girl. I really was a good girl.
this was a gentle.
Yeah. So I say, are you sure? I always my personalities, dancing, parties, that she couldn't believe that I could be serious. You know, I was maybe,
This was the real
what
deal.
is she doing? And I said, no, Jack, if you come, we wait.
I'm always in a hurry, so